You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and John.
Hey, welcome back to Guitar Talk. I'm Dave.
This is John. What's up, Dave?
Not too much. Had a gig on Friday, and that was pretty good. And then Saturday I had off, and because of the Bruins playing, so my gig got canceled. But it was an acoustic gig, and it was an easy. We do it once a month. It's the pancake breakfast. We do it once a month. But yeah, they canceled it because the game. So
right.
And then Sunday I shot a video of just my guitar collection, and
I saw it, but I didn't see the video yet. I didn't watch it yet.
Okay, yeah. And then I went live last night, which was, fun. Just didn't have anything planned and figured it would be something fun to do. How about yourself? Gigs or anything this weekend?
No gigs. 2 rehearsals. Last week I was in Northern California visiting shops all week. So if anybody wants a Mesa Boogie Mark IV combo at a really, really good price, call up Gelb Music in where the heck is Gelb Music? Redwood City, California.
Oh, dude, nice.
Kid, they had a Mark IV 112 combo in great shape. Some guy was selling as a consignment for like $750.
Wow.
I can't believe I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God, what am I going to do? I honestly would have, but this time around, I purposely left my credit card at home so that I didn't spend money. Because every time I go on these road trips, I end up finding something I want.
Do you still have the single rack?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's what I use most of the time. I actually wanted to bring up something about that today.
Nice.
Since you brought it up, I'll just jump right into it.
Sure.
That amplifier clean channel, it's one of Mesa's best clean channels they've ever done. First of all, it's unbelievable. You hit that thing with a boost, like a clean boost, get out of town. I was playing. The last few times I've gone to like Elvis rehearsals or anything like that, I've gotten lazy and just carried my amp and my guitar, and left the pedal board at home. I finally decided, take the pedal board out again. It's been a while. It sounds so much better. Get that nice delay going. Get that boost on the clean channel.
Yeah, the clean on mine, I gotta be honest, I don't know what it sounds like without my pedals going into it. And with it, it sounded very good. I used a compressor and a clean boost. Like a bright boost.
All right. Are you running clean or pushed?
Clean.
Okay, yeah.
Clean, because, to me, it's like I love Roland Jazz Chorus clean and Mesa distortion. Mm-hmm. So for me, I there isn't a tube amp that I've heard where I don't listen to the clean channel and go, oh, I need to put a bright boost on this and I need to put a compressor on it. And it always, everything kind of becomes the grand equalizer. Everything sounds pretty good after that. So I was watching. Did you happen to see Tim Pierce's video where he goes to the guy who's making Joe Perry from Aerosmith's pedal board? No. And he's also doing Neil Giraldo?
No.
And for those in the Latin community, Neil Giraldo. No, just kidding.
So stupid.
Neil Giraldo Rivera.
Oh, man.
And then the guy had pedal boards that were made that he could sample and try. That was, I think, the boards that belonged to the guy who made them. And I can't remember if it was Joe Perry or if it was Giraldo that had this pedal that he also had on his, called the Duelist by Kingtone. And it is the best tube screamer sound I've heard in a pedal. It's a dual pedal, so the left side of the pedal has a blues breaker circuit, and the right side of the pedal has a tube screamer, 808, that's modeled after this guy's.
Mhm.
But the way the guy modeled it was at 50-yard line of gain, that's where his pedal's at 100% of gain. So he gives you 50% more gain to pump in.
Mm.
And then he also has a dip switch to give you, if you want it, the stock pedal, or you can put the switch to the left and it gives you a fatter low end, or put it to the right and it's a glassier tone. But
Mm.
so I was like, I loved that tube screamer sound, and then I would use the other as a clean boost, which I saw he did on one of his videos. He turned the gain on the blues breaker all the way down, put it on glassy, dialed
Okay.
the tone in, and it was like this crystal beautiful clean. I was like, oh, loved it.
Okay. I have no idea. I'll have to look up. Kingtone? What is it? The Duelist by Kingtone?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Have you heard? I heard a pedal this week that kind of knocked my socks off a little bit. Have you heard the Wazacraft reissue of the Boss Dimension C?
No.
Fantastic.
What is the dimension? See, I don't even know if I know what the original pedal was.
It's the chorus pedal.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
And I'm not I can't find a place in my life where I would ever need a chorus pedal. Sometimes clean, it's really fun, like you were saying, like a jazz chorus sound,
Yeah.
you know. But dirty, I don't really like chorus pedals. But dude, I was at my buddy's house this weekend. He just got one, and I was listening to it, and it's really good, really good.
Yeah, I have a Strymon chorus that I
Get
love.
get rid of that trash and get this one. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
This one did sound good. The Dimension
Yeah.
C. It's weird though. It has no knobs on it. It just has these 4 buttons.
Hmm.
And it's just mode selector 1, 2, 3, and 4. And
Is
so
it
you
a
pick what
stereo
mode you want,
pedal?
and that's it.
Is it a stereo pedal? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. I think that pedal does what the jazz chorus does. Out of the left, it's clean, and out of the right, it's chorused. When you do the stereo aspect of it,
Maybe. Yeah.
I
I don't
think so. I'm starting to remember that pedal now. I could be wrong, but it's always a.
Oh, well, you know what it is? It's the fact that it has a 2.2 m ohms input impedance. That's what it is. It helps focus the mids.
Oh, right. It's made out of a special metal alloy
Right.
that gives sustain.
You have to make sure that you only use a PSA series adapter to power it. Otherwise, you won't get chorus.
Right.
So dumb. Anyway. Yeah, that pedal sounded great. I don't know what we're up to this morning. I feel like it's already off the rails.
No,
We gotta-
no. We're talking
talk-
pedals. Not what more on the rails could you be than
That's-
pedals?
That's a good point. That's a good point. So last night I was at one of my rehearsals. I was I'm playing with Troy's band a little bit right now, and just for the hell of it. And he asked me what kind of pickups I had in my Strat because it sounded good. And I told him it was the DiMarzios, the Area 54 and 58s.
Uh-huh.
And there was a look of surprise from the gear snobs. DiMarzios. I guess they would have thought that they'd be, Fralins or Lawlers or
Right.
something a little bit more snooty, perhaps.
Yeah, I think those pickups say it all, man. I mean, it's like they sound great.
I still like them.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, it's like they just do what you want them to do. They sound like a classic Strat, and they're noiseless. Hello, win-win. You know what I mean? It's like
Right. It's exactly what you want.
you can't ask for anything better. Especially the 58, 58, and 54 on the bridge. It's just a magical setup. It's like,
Ah,
oh.
It is pretty much perfect.
Yeah, because it does not leave you wanting. You don't sit there and go, geez, I wish this was like this. You're just like, oh, that's the sound I want. It's just great. It's really great. And there are these pickup snobs, and I'll tell you the funny thing about it is the area pickup technologically is probably one of the most advanced pickups if you've ever seen the patents on them.
Mm.
And then you get people like, oh, you gotta get a Lawler. And meanwhile, he's just winding a pickup around a coil.
Yeah, this industry is very, very name driven. It's very fashionable.
Yeah.
You get something like that, or what's the in-chic amplifier right now? Dave Friedman.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, he makes good stuff. Don't get me wrong; it's
Yeah.
really good stuff. But I think that there's like a level of just being in chic, keeping up with the Joneses, as they say.
Yeah, it's just yeah, it doesn't seem right. So I got a catalog the other day from it's one of those music stores. I can't remember you'll know when I tell you, but every guitar it'll say so and so for 36 months. Like all they do is push their financing. What is the name of that?
Is it like AMS?
That's
American
it,
Music
AMS.
Sound?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
So
right.
they said, and I don't think I've ever bought anything from them. So miraculously, somehow I'm getting a catalog from them.
It's everybody pushes their financing because musicians are broke.
Well, I know, but
The only
it's,
way we can sell our products to you.
and they also they also do, I mean, I don't think they're a bad company. They also do like the Sweetwater thing and Chicago Music thing, which is they get these companies to make limited versions
Sure.
of a specific model. I just don't think their models are worth looking into. They just don't seem anything interesting.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I've been to their website and looked at their product selection in the last 5 years.
And then Chicago Music a couple of years ago, and when I say a couple, I mean I think it was last year. They had that limited edition SG. I don't know if you've seen that.
No.
Oh, that was like the first limited Gibson I've ever seen where I was like, oh. They had it like in TV yellow, they had it in clear wood. It looked nice. It was like that's different for an SG. They had the nicer pickups in it. Chicago Music really does a nice job. But then it made me think, a couple of years back, and probably from the time I was out of high school, I remember when I bought my first dual rectifier, and it was right around early 90s. But I went to the store and they had the literature,
Mhm.
and you get the little full color book,
Right.
and you go home. And every time you have to go to the bathroom, you're reading it. Thank you.
Sitting on the toilet reading
Right.
about
Yeah,
wrecking
exactly.
tires.
Every time you have to go to the bathroom, you're like, oh yeah, I really gotta shit, I get off the pot. Thank you. But then you're like,
Oh, that's a good one today. Well done.
this, and then I thought to myself, like,
You're like double or triple. Triple.
no, but let's say you're already a publisher, right? Look, Rolling Stone. Why wouldn't Rolling Stone put out like the best of, like maybe after a NAMM? Like they have these magazines that put out like the best of NAMM or like, Guitar Magazine. But why not somebody put out like what looks like a catalog from NAMM? I mean, I know you'd be going, but like Frontline. Does
Well,
does
there's
Fender still make Frontline magazine?
I don't know. I don't know. There's e versions of that. All of the websites do the e version of that. You go to
Yeah,
Sweetwater or around NAM and it's just like, here's our NAM catalog, and it's like boom, right in front and center.
yeah. There's something about an 8x10 glossy of a Stratocaster naked by a fireplace. Thank you. No, there's something about like holding the magazine and looking at those guitars, I think, that kind of drove a lot of the market back then. And I just see now, I think the internet's great, but I just don't think that you should stop the other form because, I mean, I think it has value. I mean, if every year you got a Frontline magazine in your mail once a year, would you hate it?
I don't know if I'd ever bother with it.
You might thumb through it.
I think you should start distributing all of your podcasts through VHS. You're just
No,
gonna
but
start
see,
sending tapes to all these guys.
no, but the thing is if
The same
you would
thing.
no, you no. If you're home, are you going on Fender's site to download Frontline to look at it?
No, I'm watching porn. I'm at home.
Exactly. Now, if they delivered it to you and it's in a hard copy and you're like, you know what? I got to fly to San Francisco tomorrow. This is going in my computer bag. Giddy up.
I got this.
Not on the plane, you don't. On the plane,
Absolutely.
you're up there for an hour going, what the hell am I going to do? May as well thumb.
Not anymore. Now you get Wi-Fi to roam the internet. Any flight I've had in the last year and a half, 2 years, you get free Wi-Fi. I don't know.
Well,
I'm not.
I mean, there's a reason why Sweetwater's the biggest guitar company there is.
It's not because they send out a mailer every once in a while.
No, it is. It's exactly it.
You're on drugs.
They do the catalog. They do the catalog, and whether you know it or not, that catalog is seeping into the brain of people shitting everywhere. They're taking a dump, they're reading, and they're going, oh, wait, Sweetwater has a limited SG? Christ.
I would favor the Sweetwater catalog a lot more if there was a lot less glossy, bright, and a lot more pulpy paper used. Less glossy, bright, more pulpy. That way, when I look over at the roll and I say, that rolls out. Rip. We're ready to go.
Exactly.
Get rid of the pro audio section.
Exactly. Hey, did anyone see what happened to the microphone stands in Sweetwater? We were out of TP. But yeah, I mean, I just think that they would do these companies if they would stick to some of the old standbys as well, because when you're on the internet, you're getting pulled by a million things. Now, once you're interested, like all of a sudden you got like Fender sends Frontline to everybody, and all of a sudden you open up Frontline and you're like, ooh, they're reissuing another Princeton? Let me go online now and see the reviews, or let me do this, or...
You say, ooh, I say, ugh.
No, the Princeton's a great amp.
I know.
Still one of the best.
I'm always entertained when you go and it's like, 2008 to 2010, it's like the 61 reissue. 2011 to 2014, it's the 62 reissue.
Right.
And it's just like giving it, it's like, hey, Earl, how do we reinvent ourselves this year? Throw a new model year in there? All right, sounds good.
Good. Sounds great, yeah.
Yeah, that's all it is. But what was different? There was one more screw? Giddy up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this one had the piping around perfect. Release it with that year anyway, but don't forgo the piping. Okay.
Somebody told me, you remember they released those Abigail Ibarra pickups a while ago?
Oh my God!
You remember that? And
of course.
Yeah. Okay. Did you know that they're doing another run, but it's not Abigail now? It's like a girl that worked for Abigail.
It's pathetic.
They've got another run, and that's what it is.
Fender with the Abigail Ybarra. So let's just tell everybody what that is, because a lot of people may not know. Abigail Ybarra was a Hispanic woman who walked into Fender sometime in the 1950s, and they gave her a job at what looks like a sewing machine, but it's a pickup winder. And she wound pickups to Leo Fender's spec for all the years Leo was there, and then she made pickups, whatever spec they put in front of her, she made. Now, if you go to any private maker of pickups, more times than not, they have somebody who's in an after-school program, 16 or 17 years old, going in winding the pickups for the designer of the pickup. It's not a big deal. Fender, however, seems to have marketed the idea that Abigail Ybarra's pickups are special because she wound them. Yeah. I have a pair of Levi's that Abigail Ybarra did the stitching on, so they're better than yours.
I thought you were going to say you've got a pair of Levi's that were handmade by J.C. Curley, or whatever that guy's name is.
Oh, James Curley?
Yeah, that would make more sense.
Levi's have been around for 135 years.
Yeah, so I don't know what her apprentice's name was. We're going to call her an apprentice, but I really don't think it's an apprentice. I think it's just another person that was working for Abigail as she was a manager. So now that Abigail's retired and living the life in, Pico Rivera or wherever that might be. This new kid's out there winding, and she's getting some attention. I don't know if attention's the right word for it.
I mean, the whole idea about Abigail Ybarra is Fender marketing somebody's name to say these pickups are special because she wound them. And by winding them, she didn't. She's sitting there on a winder guiding anyone that winds for a week can wind pickups.
If it makes somebody feel closer to Leo Fender or the history of the company, whatever,
No,
let them feel
I'm
closer.
not saying that
they're
not justifying robbing people. They completely are justifying it.
That's true.
Look, if anybody's willing to pay for something, what's nuts is like Fender sells these hand-wired amps that they make for like over $2,000. And you can go buy a boutique guy making the improvements and everything for less than that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's nuts.
As a business person, if they can get away with it and they consistently do, giddy up. It is what it is. I did visit a boutique amplifier manufacturer this week in Northern California. You should know who that is.
Yes. Would that town be Petaluma?
It is indeed.
All right.
I stopped by there because
and would we refrain from using the word boutique since about 1976 when they stopped being boutique?
The original boutique.
Is that what they call themselves?
I don't know. I don't think they do.
No.
No, but every time I go up there, I end up stopping by and saying hey to the folks because I've got a handful of connections, friends up there.
Yeah. What was the guy's the rep in the L.A. area? Rich. What was Rich's last name?
Rich Longacre.
Longacre.
Yeah, Rich is a great guy. Rich is the guitar department manager at Guitar Showcase in San Jose.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he retired from the road because he's starting to get up there, and he'd probably despise me for saying that.
Yeah. Well,
but you got to get off the road sooner or later. But anyway, yeah, he's over there at Guitar Showcase. That's a great store. It's a really great store. They got a lot of nice.
Yeah, I never been.
It's a good one. But yeah, he does that. And then Tim, who used to be the artist relations manager over at Boogie, he's not there anymore. He's now at Dunlop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is neat. Speaking of Dunlop, I bought nothing. Tim gave me a handful of picks to try out. Have you seen these new? Oh, let me see. I've got one here.
Funny, I just bought Ultex this week.
This shape here, it's slightly sharper than a standard Tortex, and they call it a flow pick. So I was using these for a while. You can see how sharp these puppies are.
Uh-huh.
Very,
What is
very
that? An
sharp.
80? Is that an 88?
This is a 1.1,
Oh, one
whatever.
point.
This thing here, I don't know what size this is. This I'm just demonstrating the shape. But this guy
Sure.
here, it's it's a different shape. It's more curved on the sides, but it's still just as pointy on top. This is the most interesting pick I've used in a long time in terms of like, I generally use all the same sort of stuff, but this might be the first shape that I felt in a long time where I'm like, I might switch. This is really cool.
Wasn't that funny? Because I thought years ago you were using like Jazz 3s, those little mini picks.
I was, yeah, years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I switched to the Ultex Sharps or whatever they were called.
Yeah, that's what I use, these.
Yeah. I was using those for a while.
What
And then I
size were
found
you using?
either 88s or ones.
Okay.
Depends
I
on-
use the 1.4s.
Yeah. So then I used the same shape, but it's made by D'Addario because you could buy a gross of these for dirt cheap. So I bought those. Now, like I said, I'm looking at these flow picks, and I played them for the last couple days, and they're really good. I think I like them more than that shape.
Really?
The thing that I like about it so much is when you're doing your alternate picking, there's less drag on the string. Like it almost feels like it's not there. It's crazy, but you still hear all the attack, and you still
Right.
you still get all the attack, but it just almost feels like it's not there. It's really unusual. I kind of get used to it over the last couple days. It's rad. Take it.
Yeah.
These picks were hand shaped by Jim Dunlop Sr. just before his passing.
And Abigail
You can get-
Ybarra was apprenticing then.
You could get a bag of these, a bag of 12 for the low price of $15.99.
What?
No, I'm just joking. This
Oh, I
is
was going to say.
Could you imagine $16 for a 12 pack of picks?
No.
These Ultexes are expensive. How much are the Ultex nowadays?
I
They're not
buy 'em-
cheap.
Yeah, they are when you buy them in the 72 packs. I just buy them on Amazon in 72 packs. It's like $30 even.
For 72.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, to me that sounds like a lot because
It's 50 cents a pick, basically.
yeah, I think I bought that gross of the Planet Waves Sharpies for like $21 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was really cheap. Anyway, enough of that.
So what
what-
happened at Mesa? Yes.
I met Chris, who's the new artist relations manager over there. Spent some time, walked around, shook some hands, kissed some babies.
Nice.
Yeah, just typical sort of stuff. I played the latest version of the Dual Rectifier, which I'd not yet played yet. That was the I think I told you I wanted to play one of those.
The multi-watt.
Yeah, the multi-watt one. I haven't played it yet. It's
So have they done anything to the multi-watt since they released it 10 years ago or 9 years ago?
Oh, good question. I don't know if they have.
Yeah.
But this is the first time I ever played through one, and it does feel slightly different from the original 3-channel. I don't know if it sounds that much different, but it feels different.
I think it's a little different.
It feels a little bit more like the Rectoverb that I have, like the old 2-channel style, where it doesn't have as much bite on the pick attack. It's darker sounding, and it feels more saturated. Like I would say more fluid, maybe, if that
Or
makes
focused mids. I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's got more fluidity. I don't know.
Buttery.
No, but after playing it, I realized that it's like, all right, been there, done that. I don't need to.
You have one.
I don't need to do it again. Yeah,
You have a
exactly.
single one. You have the one right behind you, the stiletto.
That's true.
That stiletto
gotta-
sounded good. It looks good. Looks
I
good
gotta-
behind you.
I gotta mod it. I gotta get in there and start tinkering until it's broken.
Does that stiletto have a a parallel loop, an effects loop parallel.
It does not. That one came with a series loop.
So you don't have anything to mod down.
Oh, no,
I was trying to find you something to mod.
I gotta change the bright caps. It's too bright.
Oh, really?
It's too bright. You know how your favorite guitar player Andy Timmons, how he sets his up?
Yeah.
Treble is off. He literally sets it treble all the way off.
Right.
That tells me the amp's not. It wasn't voiced very balanced. Yeah, you shouldn't have to turn it all the way off, but
Sure.
he turns it all the way off. However, I will say, have you ever seen that Greg Koch video where he's going through the Fender Bassman? And he says, here's the secret to the Fender Bassman. He literally turns the bass and the treble all the way off and turns the mid-range all the way up, and that's it. He just has the mid-range 100% dimed, and it sounds amazing. You're listening to a play, you're like, what in the world? How did he figure out that trick? Oh, it's the best. It's an unbelievable video. That's
funny.
That's the sound.
Yeah, there's a guy that does like a mod on a Bassman in one of the videos. I'm trying to think if it was Uncle Doug or not, but somebody modifies the Bassman to a Marshall, basically.
Maybe Rusty did the mods.
I don't know.
That's a joke. His dog can't do mods.
Oh, yeah. Rusty, you helping today? But
I love it.
yeah. But I mean, I think in general, you didn't ask the guys at Mesa what kind of mods can you do that anyone does to that amp? Because I'm sure they've gotten a ton of feedback over there.
I didn't ask Chris, the new artist guy, because I don't think he would know.
Yeah.
But I do have Mike Bendinelli's email address, and I'm planning on using it.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, yeah.
I mean, Mesa makes a great amp. It's like I was saying the other day. It doesn't matter what. If you have a high gain amp, more than likely they're going to you can dial them in to sound the same.
Pretty much, yeah. I think pretty much. There's, some are slightly brighter, some are slightly darker. It just, Then there are some that are not good. There are definitely some that are not good.
Give me one. What's an amp that's not good?
Crate Blue Voodoo.
Oh, come on. I meant a real company, Crate.
All right. Let's talk about Marshall.
Okay.
And not Sean Marshall. Hey, Sean Marshall. What's up, dude? Johan Segborn. What's his name? Segborn?
I think it's Segborn, something like that. Yeah.
The video that he did this weekend, or at least that we saw this weekend, where he's covering every single Marshall there was. Mm-hmm. There were a few of them that were dogs.
Yeah, my question though is, because he shows one of them where he changes the mid boost, right? The the vintage modern.
Yeah.
And then I have to ask, well, I mean, you probably could EQ any of the others. I mean, everything was somewhat relatively similar that I felt like, oh, this one they need to boost the mids. This one, it sounds too bright. Take some of that sizzle out or lower the gain a little bit. So I always felt like they all were kind of similar. And you probably could have dialed them in to match.
Well, isn't that the thing about his videos is that he dials them all to sound good in the room or something?
I don't know.
I thought that the 800 was one of the worst ones, though. The 2203 that he had.
Oh, you didn't like that one? That's the sound that I liked because it wasn't his gain.
No, he had one that was really like blanket over the top of it.
Yeah, but
wasn't it that
said
one?
JCM 800. No. It's the one that said just JCM 800, but he didn't say which one it was, which I thought was weird because usually he puts always the model number.
He said it was an 83. I think I remember it saying like 83 JCM 800. So I don't know, but that was one of the worst sounding ones in the bunch.
Yeah,
and then
actually,
the 2203
the 2203 was a 1980, and I don't think it was a JCM 800. I think it was a JMP.
Oh, okay, maybe a Mark II or whatever they call it.
Well, they're all Mark IIs, whether
Okay.
it's a 800 or whether it's an 800 or a JMP. That
Yeah.
model's always the Mark II.
The thing I thought was excuse me. The thing I
Because the
thought was the
Mark One,
funniest was what you just talked about. The 2266 was the worst sounding amp there, and then when you press the mid boost control, all of a sudden it sounded like the rest of them, and it was
yeah.
like, why did they even bother making it different? It sounded terrible without the mid boost in,
My
and it
question
sounded
is, why did he
great
even bother
without it.
showing it?
Yeah, it's good. It's a good point because he didn't change the settings on any of the other ones.
Yeah. Why show it? Why show a bad setting on the amp?
So we
Just
have
because
something
it
to
has
talk
mid
about.
boost?
He knew
Right.
we wanted fodder.
Exactly.
That's it.
But the thing is like, so the Mark II, all the Mark II means is the Mark I was the prototype master volume amp, and then Mark II is every 2203 is a Mark II.
Okay.
And the Mark III is a 2100 JCM 900. And that's the end of the Marks.
Okay.
But yeah, which
900
is
did he show in the video? Which 900 did he have in the video?
the 2100, the Mark
He did.
III.
Okay. That one sounded good too. It sounded if you were blindfolded and listening to those two amps back to back through the monitors, you would never know.
No.
They sounded the same.
Yeah.
Sounded the same. But that's not to say that no high gain amps sound poor or whatever the case is. There's some variants out there.
Well,
I
I
had a
should say
hovercraft
in the
amp once
mix.
that was. Yeah, all right. Well, in the mix, they're probably they're all going to be similar, but there's certainly some that feel different. You get some that they do
Yes.
a poor
yes.
they do a poor job of like filtering the low end. So if you're trying to palm mute something, it sounds like big and fluffy, like thump 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 instead of cack cack cack, which is kind of more like what you want if you're playing high gain.
I think some of the original Bugeras, when the Bugera first came out, that they weren't great.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
But I think they've improved them. And that the later series sound really good.
Right. But everything's kind of based off of the same topography, if you will. It's all comes from the same sort of place. And I mean, there's not that many variants in circuits. You get like, the cathode follower EQ sort of circuit or an EQ that's running off the plate. So those two variants, you got, did you put your EQ after the first gain stage or after the third gain stage? That'll make some difference, but generally not a lot of difference. I think Mark series and dual rectifier feel different, but when you hear them in mixes, they don't sound that different.
No. Right, exactly. I think a lot of things when you put it in the mix, you're like, oh, I mean, just kind of like Zeppelin. People sit there and used to say when I was a kid, he plays Marshall, then you get older and you start looking into it and he's playing Suprose, he's playing Orange, he's playing whatever the hell he wants, and they all sound good.
Yeah, it's like, what's in the room right now?
Everything sound good.
What's in the room right now? I'll use that.
Yeah.
You ever heard of this dude named Christian Hand?
No.
He does song breakdowns. He's got kind of a cool thing going. I don't know if they still do it because Swing House Studios changed hands, but a few years ago, Swing House Studios in LA used to host this event. I don't know if it was weekly or monthly, but this guy Christian Hand would do a 1-hour presentation where he would take a song and he had all the master tracks from the song.
Okay.
And he would break it down just like VH1 used to do. You remember the VH1 where they'd break the songs down to the individual tracks and you could hear. Oh, you never saw that? Oh, it's brilliant.
I was busy watching pop-up video. Pop-up video.
I wonder if there'll ever be like a porn version of that. I haven't seen that parody yet. No, so what they did on this VH1 thing is they would basically have either the producer or one of the artists from the band, and they'd have all the master tracks, and they would basically be isolating individual tracks from each session. Here's what the bass player was doing. Oh, listen to that tone. Isn't it buttery smooth? Right. And they would do it for everything. And this Christian Hand guy is one of those guys, and he does it out here. and
Okay.
he has a podcast. There's like 30 episodes or something available if you use whatever your podcast is. I'm sure you'll be able to find them. Just type in Christian Hand and you'll see Christian Hand song breakdowns. So I was listening to a few of those on my drives this week,
Mm-hmm.
and they're so fantastic. You get
What did you hear?
All right, the song breakdown for More Than a Feeling from Boston,
Okay.
unbelievable. So I did that one. I did Hollywood Nights. I did Tom Sawyer, which was less interesting because
Hollywood
it's only 30
Nights.
guys.
Does Hollywood Nights have the two drummers?
No, that's Seeger. I don't think Seeger had two drummers.
Yeah, this Hollywood Nights has two drummers on the recording. I'm 90% positive. Hold on.
Those Hollywood Nights.
Yeah, you got to look it up. I'm almost positive that there's two drummers on that track.
When he does the drum isolation, it certainly doesn't sound like two drummers.
Hollywood Nights, Bob Seger.
Survey says.
Well, it doesn't tell me on the song individual. So let me look in the album Stranger in Town. All right, Silver Bullet Band. Well, it lists two drummers, but that's just because. Oh, Hollywood Nights. Here we go. Oh, no, that's just for Sherry Matthews. She's saying backup on it.
I mean, I was listening to the isolated tracks. I don't think it was, but I think you should listen to it and see what you think. Okay, hold on. I'm reading something right now about song facts. It says our drummer David Teagarden played an entire set of drums as we recorded and overdubbed an entire set of drums playing a different pattern.
Totally, you can hear it on the record. I knew it was that one because it's that. You can hear it in the song the way the guy's playing.
Maybe in the ISO track that the guy pulled out, he just had one, or maybe David Teagarden is such a good drummer, I just can't tell because I'm retarded.
Right.
Oh, I'm not allowed to say that anymore. I apologize for everyone else.
Oh no, Teagarden, that's a fine word.
So in More Than a Feeling,
yes,
it's unbelievable. Some of the little stuff that's buried in that song is just unbelievable. It's all Brad Delp too.
You mean vocally all the stuff?
Oh yeah. So like there's parts of that song like, you know, where he goes like, I see my Mary Ann walking away, and he gets way up there, right? You hear that one, but out of all these other sections, you hear him like harmonizing along with the guitar that you just don't hear really on the record. But like he'll be like leaving a section and he'll be like bringing up this high note, and it's just like in the background, like this crazy angelic voice, and they got like this reverb on it, and it's just beautiful. And I'm sitting here listening to it, and like the guy was an insanely talented singer. Insanely talented. You should meet my friend. He's so talented. Brad Delp. I mean, what a sad story. Like the fact that the guy, when he died, what was the suicide note? It said something like, "I'm a lonely soul." You know, it's just like,
I don't know.
I don't know what the guy's like mental condition was. Obviously, he was not healthy, but dude, what an unbelievable voice. I don't know if you're a Boston fan.
With like,
good God.
Well, I've listened to that album 1,000 times because in Boston you can't grow up without it.
Right.
Didn't he die by putting like a couple of gas grills in his bathroom with him? Yeah, it was weird because right after I heard that, I sent Vince Neil a couple of gas grills, and I never heard back. But no, thank you.
You can't say that. Oh man.
There's a.
Kid, you got to hear something. I'm gonna set. You got to listen to this thing. You got to hear
I'll
something.
check it out for sure. No, those. It was all recorded, I think, in Tom's basement.
That's what they say.
Yeah, Tom had put a studio in his basement, 'cause he made a lot of money with Polaroid, and he put out that, and then he built a studio. He also played all the keyboard parts.
Mm.
Tom.
I guess on the record he played the everything except the drums and the vocals.
Yes.
So the bass and everything else too. But some of the harmony, you got to hear the high harmony on the vocal takes. It gets
Could you imagine?
so high. It's like how, I mean, I know it's falsetto at that point or head voice or whatever, but how in the world it's so high and so clean is unbelievable. That guy, I mean, I don't think there's any question. That guy had probably one of the biggest ranges in.
So have you seen the guy who
rock and roll.
replaced him?
No.
So the guy who replaced him was a guy in 2008 who worked at Home Depot down in North Carolina. And he posted on MySpace him singing like a tribute
Oh,
to,
okay.
and he did a bunch of songs. And I guess Tom Schultz's wife played it for him, and he was like, "Oh, I don't know that recording of Brad." And she's like, "Well, that's not Brad." And after he heard it, he like reached out to him and said, "Hey, do you want to do a gig with us?" And that's how he became the news singer.
Oh,
But-
wow.
Yeah. I knew Tom years ago. Tom kind of dated off and on a girl I worked with. So he used to hang out at this job I used to work at. And then I played pool with him and darts a few times. He was a nice enough guy. At the time, he really wasn't into playing. Boston was like on hiatus, and he seemed kind of soured by a lot of it. So we didn't really talk much about it. But yeah, I dug Boston. To me, it's overdone. I don't know if I could listen to the whole first album again, like for a while. I have to give it a rest, like Dark Side of the Moon. But now I think Dark Side's brilliant again. But the Boston record it's like, I mean, I like Foreplay Long Time. I mean, every song on it's really good. It's overplayed.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. It's I don't think that I would have ever put on More Than a Feeling while driving in the car if it wasn't for the circumstance that it was, a song breakdown, just something,
Yeah.
a new perspective of listening. But then, like I said, I did the same thing with Hollywood Nights, and Hollywood Nights is amazing.
It's great.
If you're listening to that drummer playing that disco beat, the bass player, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom.
Yes.
And
It's great.
the whole thing is like a disco song, and then the guitars and Bob singing, and like, dude, that guy's voice.
Yeah, I think of it as like a
Say it
gallery.
over and over. That guy's got the best voice, man. Holy crap. But
But the Boston's third album, when they came back in the 80s to do I hated that record with a passion.
what was on
but
that
you-
record?
Amanda, Cool the
Oh.
Engines. It was
Yeah.
terrible.
Not for me.
But Brad Delp sang in a couple of other bands too. I think he was in RTZ. And then he sang on a great song called Dreams by Barry Goudreau. You got to look that up.
Dreams. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
That's not Barry Goudreau.
Oh no, have you seen now there's a new vocal woman that's like from Seattle, and she does Heart, like Crazy on You, and she's like all these vocal coaches that it's like it's so annoying. Yeah. It's like And then I've noticed there's a lot of reaction videos now I've never noticed before.
Okay.
There's one guy that listens to Ted Nugent's Stranglehold, which I enjoyed the hell out of watching him listening to it, because he just
Okay.
and there's a girl, and then there's like a younger kid who's like in his early 20s listening to Pink Floyd Time, and he almost starts crying at the lyrics. But overall, these videos are tired.
This is the first time I've ever heard this song, but the next part, it's so touching. Like, wait,
Right.
what?
Exactly. Yeah.
Ah.
I never
Oh,
heard
man.
this song before, and he's singing along to every lyric.
Exactly. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. And like I said, I only find it interesting when you see people from another culture. Like, you want to give me somebody who's from Mexico that's grew up on what do they call it? Oompa music, whatever they call that Mexican music, and then listen to Boston's first album. I'd watch that person's reaction.
Right.
But when it's like somebody like, we're two college kids and we're going to listen to Rush for the first time, which one do you want to listen to? Let's do Subdivisions. I love that tune. I've never heard it. You know, it's like, what?
You got to pander.
Yeah.
You got to
It's
pander.
right.
That's
It's
why
just
I could not react to Pantera's Great Southern Trendkill. My little kid had to, because he'd never
Right.
heard of it.
right.
As
Well,
my
that's
dad
also a
was
cool
hilarious.
idea because your kid, there's no question your kid would never hear it. Do you know what I mean? That's why it's cool when you pull people from another culture because
Yeah.
the validity of them not hearing it seems so much more feasible. But like even the guy who listened to Stranglehold, he was honest when he got to like somewhere in the middle of the song. He goes, "I know this song. I've heard this many times. I've always loved it." And then he explains that a friend of his older brother had the album and used to play it. But you know, it's I love that phasey bass in that song. You know, that octave.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
so
totally.
great.
I'm sitting here thinking about it. It's like, man, if you were gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna listen to this song I've never heard, and it apparently is the most popular song from whatever band it was, there's a good chance you've heard it, just
Yeah.
peripherally. There's a
Yeah.
good chance. It feels more like when I was a kid in high school. I think I told you about this. I may have even said something on the program before, but me and my buddy went and saw David Bowie at the Palace of Auburn Hills in Detroit, Michigan.
Right.
And both of us were like, David Bowie. Yeah, I mean, we know who David Bowie is, and we know a couple of songs, but we had no idea that we knew every single song. It was
Right.
just one of those shows where it was like, wait, this is Bowie? Wait, this is Bowie?
Right.
Oh, shit, I didn't know this was Bowie. Like every single song. And I have a feeling when you start getting into these reaction videos, the moment that somebody's like, oh, I don't know Rush. I don't know Rush. And you're like, oh, well, do Tom Sawyer or Limelight. And then it's like, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I know Rush.
Yeah.
Automatically. There's no way that they don't. You know?
Yeah, I just don't understand the whole you know, I'm gonna take a super popular song like Foreplay Long Time and pretend I've never heard it. It's like, what? If you put on an FM radio at any particular point in your life, you know that song.
Right.
It's like, I've only listened to pop, so now I'm gonna listen to Player, Baby Come Back. What? I've never heard this. Talking about. You can't even get away from a TV commercial without it advertising on KTEL. You know what I mean? It's like, I'll tell you a song I've been listening to this week, and I'm surprised. And I don't even know, but I don't think she ever did it. But I'm surprised Alison Krauss never did this song because I think it would sound great with Union Station. And the song is called Boulder to Birmingham.
Okay.
And my favorite version of it is by the Starland Vocal Band.
Yeah, okay. I don't think I know this song.
But do you know who the Starland Vocal Band is?
No idea.
Gonna find my babe, I'm gonna hold her tight, gonna have some afternoon delight.
Yeah.
That's the Starland
Afternoon delight. Right.
The guy who
The first time
is in
I
the
ever heard
band.
that song, by the way, was in that movie.
Are you kidding me?
And then I heard it a million times after that. I never
That
knew
was
that
a
song before
big
that.
song when I was like 6 years old. No, 7 years old. That song was huge.
That song's
But
like one of
they,
those 70s songs that definitely doesn't like. I don't think it transcends the ages. You don't listen to that and say, what a timeless song. You listen to it and you go, oh, okay, that's like total AM gold, sort of.
yeah. But the thing is, so the guy who's in that band co-wrote a song with Emmylou Harris called Boulder to Birmingham.
Okay.
And Emmylou Harris has a version of it, but the Starland vocal version is phenomenal. And I think, I don't know why Alison Krauss never did it. It's totally in her wheelhouse, and it's a great, great, underrated song.
All right.
In the 70s, it was all over the place, so much so that Luke Duke sang it in a duet on the Dukes of Hazzard with some girl.
Unbelievable. That's funny. What kind of pickups was the guitar player using when he recorded that song?
Yeah, exactly. Lawless.
Serious? Tell me.
5 years before Lawler was born, he was using Lawless.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the funny thing about gear when you talk to people and it's like, oh, this does this, and it's like, yeah, the records that I hear when I was growing up had no problem.
So this week there's a guy in LA selling a Mesa Lone Star on Craigslist.
There's one in Boston too.
And it's gorgeous because it's a single 12 in a natural finished hardwood flame maple cabinet. Just unbelievable looking. And I'm telling my buddy Chris, you got to get it. You got to get this. This is such a steal. For $9.99 is what the guy's asking for it.
Okay.
Absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it. And so he was like, yeah, this might be too good to pass up. I'm going to contact the guy. So he reaches out, contacts the guy. By the way, this guy's ad says like $9.99 OBO.
Right.
So Chris hits him up and asks him, according to him, he said, I just asked him about the age of the tubes. So he said, how old are the tubes? Is there anything wrong with it? And he said, is your price firm? Are you willing to accept partial trades? ? Says the guy gets back to him and just simply says, no trades, nothing else, no other response at all. And so he hit him back and said, what about my other questions? And apparently the guy never got back to him. This, folks, is why Craigslist is infuriating. Why in the world is this guy trying to sell his amplifier that he needs to get rid of, but the moment somebody contacts him about it, he's like, oh, I gotta be standoffish. Like, dude, makes no sense.
Yeah. He doesn't want to sell it, probably.
Well, if he doesn't want to sell it, he shouldn't sell it.
Well, no, but that's not the point. I come across this all the time. I call it the wife is making them sell it.
Get rid of her.
Because what happens is you reach out to these people and they do everything in their power not to sell it to you.
If you're already married, if it's your wife, that means you've already been up in there. Just move on. She's tired. She's, you don't need that. Keep that beautiful amplifier.
No, seriously, that's what happens because you have, there's been many times where I've reached out to people, asked a simple question, you get no answer. I'm like, this guy doesn't want to sell it.
Yeah.
Like he's being forced to sell it. Because, I mean, first of all, why does your buddy give a shit about how old the tubes are?
I think it's just trying to figure out whether or not you've got to automatically invest another $200 into the amplifier the moment you bring it home.
You got to imagine, how old's the amp?
I don't know, 10 years old.
Yeah, I would just say, what year is the amp? And I would assume that the tube's never been changed. You'll probably have to change the power tubes. The 12AX7s are probably fine.
Right.
Because that kind of amp doesn't sound like the kind of amp that's going out on the road. This is a guy's home amp.
Well,
so
sure.
you might have to change the power tubes. What's 2 tubes? $50? What's a pair of tubes? Oh, it's 4? How many watts is that amp?
It's a 100-watt head or a 100-watt amp.
For some reason I was thinking it was 50. All right,
Yeah,
so yeah, you got 4 tubes, 4 6L6s.
Yeah, $80
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, $80.
But
Take it off the price.
he's just not the kind of guy that changes. He's going to change all of them to make sure it's, But
But I mean,
I
the way
just-
it's 12
you might-
AX7, you never have to
you might
change
be-
those.
you might be right about the guy not wanting to sell it.
Yeah. Oh, it happens all the time. Did you put that amp up yet? No, put it up.
Put her
Then
up.
All right, then
Yeah.
anyone that responds, he just acts like a dick. Nope, no trades. I'll trade you a briefcase with 50,000 in it. Nope, no trades.
Exactly.
Right?
Dude. Yeah, that makes me wonder. Now I feel really bad about it. I wonder if I wonder how I know there are some circumstances like you got to pay and you don't have a lot of money. Whatever the case may be, sometimes that's the thing. And I give you a pass for that one. But if it's your wife nagging you to sell it, that's when you got to get rid of her.
No, I think not. Well, I don't know if it nagging you to sell it, but let's put it this way. There are many people who are weekend warrior guitar players, which there's nothing wrong with that. But they have gear like the Tone King.
Ooh.
And it's just, and maybe not so insane, but they have like 5 or 6 real expensive amplifiers that they don't need or use. It's just in a room.
With red paint on the walls.
Yes, exactly.
I'm looking
These
at
are
all
all for these are all for
those
sale.
Marshalls.
These are all for sale. Every
Yeah.
one of them. If somebody said to me, "I'll give you." That's why it's sitting there. It's one of those things.
I'll give you. I'll trade you a barely used surfboard and a pair of homemade nunchucks for that Breedlove mandolin back there.
Exactly.
That's-
How do I
that-
say no?
Yeah, that's a common Craigslist thing out here. Hey man, you open a trades? That depends what you got. Oh, I got a surfboard, and you're
Right.
just like automatically like, or hey man, I do tattoos. I'll give you a free tattoo.
Right.
Well, I got a better idea. You give me some cash from tattoos that you charge people for.
Right.
Do you see that in Boston a lot? There's
No. Well, I don't. No, not really, because I haven't really sold a lot of things from there.
that's-
But the thing is when a lot of people will have the wife that'll say, "Hey, do me a favor. Can you at least sell 2 of those 6 amps that you have in there?" And so then the guy's like, "Yeah, let me. You know what? I'm going to get rid of the Lone Star this weekend. It's going right up on Craigslist." How new are the tubes? No. Right?
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
That amp's beautiful though. If
I'm sure it's gorgeous. There was one on
mm,
Craigslist here for 12. After you told me, I went to go look to see what they go for. But I have to tell you, people in Massachusetts are out of their minds. They think their stuff is gold.
there's some people out here like that too.
Oh, it drives me nuts.
I read I read a really standoffish JCM 2000 DSL 100 posting
Yeah.
the other day. Guy was asking $10.50 for his DSL 100 head, and I was like, "Is this a joke?" Because they go for $5.50 all day, every day.
Right.
And the guy's posting was, "If you think that this amplifier is gonna be some gig worn, beat up head, hasn't been taken care of, it's been taken around for studios and used in smoked in environments, you're dead wrong, man. This amplifier has been babied, blah, blah, blah. This is the one you're going to want for twice the price it's worth."
Right.
It's like, oh boy.
Right. Now, this one here, they got a lot of decent stuff. So I just typed in Mesa.
Mm-hmm.
There's a single rectifier for $650.
Which one? Combo head?
Combo, the one we have.
Rectoverb? First series or second series? You can tell by the knobs.
First.
Ooh, that's a good deal.
Yep, $650 or best offer.
That's a great.
There's a-
That's a great amp.
A Mesa Maverick dual rectifier combo.
Okay.
$750.
Do you remember that kid, Alex, the English kid?
Yeah.
He had one of those.
Oh, he did?
Yep.
He has a triple rectifier half stack for 12.
For the whole half stack?
Yeah.
Wow. That's not bad.
Yep, comes with original manual head cover and foot switch with bag, 1200.
Two
Oh,
channel
the
or
cabinet's
three
a Randall cab.
channel? Oh, yeah, that tank's
When
the
you
deal.
blow it up, you can see it. And then the other thing is the Lone Star here. The guy's asking 14 Lone Star special.
Oh, for the special is the 30 watt with EL80 force.
That's exactly right. EL84s.
That's not the same. I mean, I'm sure it sounds good, but it's not the same. What's he asking for? 14? Yeah, that's a bit confident.
Oh yeah. And then he says scammers, low ballers, and their ilk will be outright ignored. Go fuck yourself. How do you like that? They're so stupid. It's like, why do you need to post negative shit? Just ignore the people that you want to ignore. But when you advertise, you just come across as a dick.
Right. Every once in a while, I'm looking at, okay, in my neighborhood here, there's somebody selling a Simulclass 290 power amp, and they're asking $1,300 for it. I've owned this same power amp twice in my life, and both times I think I bought it for $500. $1,300. It's not even new.
Here's actually a pretty good deal. An original JCM 2000 DSL 401. $450.
Ah, I got you beat on that one. And it might be
What do you-
sold already. I saw the very same amplifier here in LA for $360.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an EL84 amp, not the 34.
Yeah. That one can be beneficial. It's good to put a new speaker in that amplifier.
Okay, here's the amp I have.
So you gotta add
JCM
$100 for it.
900 high gain Mach 3 volume, master volume 100 watt head. So this is a 2100 and he's asking 600.
Ooh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What's the condition?
It looks mint.
Wow, that's a good deal. I should get it. What am I going to do with it?
Exactly. Hold on, I'll send it to you. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button.
Jim
Now,
Marshall.
Is there a way I can send? Here it is.
All right, so to juxtapose what you're looking at right now, here is a JCM 900 4100.
Yeah.
Completely gone through and in impeccable condition. Brand spanking new EL34. Sounds insane. Price firm, cash only, $14.99.
Wow. Here's the exact same head. This thing looks mint. 4100, 750.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta do your research. Oh, hello. There it is. It's still for sale, and the guy looks like he dropped his price. JCM 2000 DSL 401 in Westlake Village, $340.
Wow.
Single
Here's
12. But I'm telling you, I've had that amp before. You need to change the speaker. The one that comes with it is like a garbage speaker. It's got a real small magnet. It's like a what do you call it? It's a budget Celestion. Put a vintage
This
30
looks
in there.
nice. This guy has a JCM 800 2x12, 4104 for 1200. That's pricey.
I see an 800 4103 for 1500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
want-
these prices are all over the map. Here's a JCM 900. Which model is this? Oh, 4100 again.
Yeah. That's the one you'll find most of the time.
625.
Yeah. That's $200 too high for that.
It's two listings past the guy that's asking $1,500.
Yeah. But that's still on the high side.
What, 625?
Mm-hmm. For that, I think so.
Well, yeah. Yeah, man, there's all kinds of stuff. Everybody's divesting of their guitar gear. They're all buying DJ equipment.
Yeah, I mean, there's a JTM. What the hell is a JTM 60?
Oh, I know what that is. That is not okay. So a JTM 60 is a kind of a black sheep of the Marshall lineup. They also did a JTM 30, and it's built a lot like a hot rod, like a Fender hot rod. People, for whatever reason, didn't like the amp, and I don't know why exactly, but it's built a lot like a hot rod from the standpoint that like the pots are on the circuit board. They mount it like the circuit board's not flat in the amp like that. It's up and down like this. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's built the same way as like a Fender style amp.
Right.
But for whatever reason, people don't like it.
Yeah, this guy's selling it for $350 mint.
Yeah. And I don't know whether or not that's a good deal or not. I've never owned one, but I do know what it is.
But there's a
How do we feel?
did you get the one I sent you in the chat here?
Yeah. Chatterbait?
Exactly.
Let's see. How do I find that? All right. Open conversation. Yeah. All right. I see that now. Yeah. Wow. That is exceptionally clean.
Yeah, I thought it looked pretty clean.
Oh, no. That L, the last L in Marshall is starting to sag a little bit. Can't have that. Hey, it's in Worcester.
Yeah. That's Deema's town.
Worcester. Worcester.
That's where Deema's from.
Right. So if I get on the phone with this guy and say, hey, I like your amp, he's going to be like, bang 'em!
Exactly. The serial number is so it's a 92.
Right.
It's good.
Yeah, you don't have to dwell on that. I'm not buying it, but
No, I know, but it's a that's the amp of amps.
trade my stiletto for it.
Probably would do it.
Do you have many people that have like angles and things like that, like more boutique-y names in your neighborhood?
Let me
throw out a name here and let's see if LA's got it. Give me something to work with.
Well, see, you guys will have like divided by 13. I don't think you're gonna see one here now.
Divided by 13? Yeah, we sure do.
Yeah. Yeah, there's none.
You ever heard of a guy named Doug Roccaforte?
Mm-mm.
He makes he's an amp repair tech out here that makes heads, and they're really, really nice.
The guy in the video with Tim Pierce talking about pedals, he has a Blankenship amp.
Okay. Roy Blankenship?
Yeah.
Yep, I've met Roy. Roy worked on my Buddha and couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. Look at this.
It's a Buddha.
It's clean work, man. Yeah, Roccaforte. Roccaforte. The guy makes nice stuff. I'm looking at one right now, and like the workmanship is just so clean. It's killer stuff. $1,650. But it's like basically a Marshall.
Yeah.
You know, I got a problem with Marshall with one thing with their design. You ever carry a high gain Marshall head? You ever notice how much it like hangs to one side because both of the transformers are on the same side?
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's so frustrating. And these are the things that I complain about. Talk about real world problems. Ay. Anyway, what do you got going for the week?
I just got lessons all week. I got to teach today. I got to teach tomorrow, Wednesday, and then I have a rehearsal on Wednesday. Thursday, I'm off this week. It's actually the place that I would have had a gig with is closed for renovations, but we would have had it off anyway because of the Bruins. And then I have a private party to play on Saturday. How about yourself? Any gigs?
Wednesday night, I'm playing with Troy.
Oh, we're at.
Just some little place called the Maui Sugar Mill.
All right.
It's
Do those gigs pay at all or not really?
no, it's just an opportunity to get out and
Yeah.
f around. Oh, Elvis is coming up, but it's not this week. It's next week.
Yeah.
We're headlining House of Blues in Anaheim. That's it for now. There's going to be a new gig coming pretty soon. I think July 13th.
What is it?
My grunge, and I call it my grunge band. It's not really grunge. We play all kinds of stuff, but we do play a lot of grunge. This is going to be a fun gig. We're playing this place called South Bay Customs, which is a private event center, and the guy wants to start doing a monthly event where it's going to be beer, barbecue, and music. And basically, you just play a flat fee at the door. You get in, you get barbecue, you get a couple of drink tickets, and you get the live music. And
Nice.
the place is a really cool place.
Where
But
is it?
It's in El Segundo. But I think it's gonna be great. So we're
I
gonna
left
be
my
doing-
wallet there.
Yeah, exactly.
I left my wallet in El Segundo. I gotta get it. I got to get it.
So yeah, we're gonna be doing that one July 13th,
Nice.
and that's the band Junkhead, which is an Alice in Chains reference.
Sure.
And that's my pal Chris that I mention every once in a while.
Yeah.
The other two guys, Matt and Pete. And we actually play all kinds of stuff. That band, we've done everything from like Bark at the Moon to we've even played Blink 182 songs at request, which isn't our thing, but at request, you do what
Did you
do.
see I posted the solo to Closer to the Heart?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I posted a lesson on that solo. I
I
watched
love,
a few.
I love that segue.
Well, you just made me think of it.
All right.
Also, yawning my balls off. I'm tired. I
Ah.
gotta run around all day.
Yeah, tell me about it. I got to do the same thing. I got to hit the road here in a few minutes.
What do you got going on today? Anything good?
Asian massage parlors, pick up my weekly stash of cocaine,
Nice. Hey,
live in high class.
where did I see you? What store was that at that I saw you with all the guitars?
What, on Instagram?
Wherever it was. It was
Was
you
I-
and some guy.
Oh, yeah, that was the Rosewood Guitar in Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that place is, for somebody who's playing like fingerstyle guitar, that place is great. He's got a lot of really nice stuff.
How's the situation in Seattle? Do you see a lot of tents up?
Not nearly as many as LA and San Francisco.
Yeah.
I didn't get to drive all over the whole city. I kind of went where I needed to go. But it wasn't as obvious getting to and from these different places. But
Right.
dude, this week I was in San Francisco and San Jose and all that. And when you're in San Francisco, it's just depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're destroying that city.
Same thing down here.
Yeah.
Trash everywhere. And oh, you know what's funny? Speaking of gas grills, this is, we were speaking of gas grills an hour ago for those of you who remember. When I was going to rehearsal last night, I had to walk past a handful of tents to get into the studio, and they had a gas grill, and they were firing up some chicken breast on the gas grill. It was hilarious.
Nice.
Oh, I was like, giddy up, guys. That's how you do it, huh?
And where was the rehearsal studio?
It's Exposition Rehearsal Studios. Let's see. This would be Venice Boulevard and Hughes. Okay, it's not a Rallies anymore, but do you remember there used to be a Rallies on Venice Boulevard?
It sounds familiar. On the
The reason I mention that is because there's no Rallies anywhere.
yeah, I don't know what the hell Rallies. I mean, it's like a burger place, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Food joint. Yeah.
I kind of remember.
Yeah. Let's see. What else?
Passed
is there?
by where Kovar lived.
Yeah, you're passing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's basically in that neighborhood, and then it's just north of Venice on Exposition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, But dude, in LA right now, it doesn't matter where you are.
Oh, I
If
know
there's
Exposition. Exposition's close to Centinela. I mean, La Cienega.
yeah, closer to La Cienega. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was like an electronic repair place, like an amp replace and electronics repair place on Exposition.
Maybe. I know Advanced Musical Electronics is on,
Yeah,
but that's on Venice.
that's on Venice. They moved then.
It's been on Venice the whole time I've lived in LA.
No, they used to be on that. Isn't Exposition like a diagonal road?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that's where they used to be.
Okay, yeah. They probably moved like 10 years ago. Because I've used that place a few times over the
Yeah.
years. Yeah, it's on Venice for sure.
But wait, so could the back of their place be on Exposition?
You're listening to Rand McNally talk.
You're listening to the Thomas Guide.
Right. Yeah, I don't know where Exposition spits out. I don't know, but
Yeah.
Either way,
Yeah.
right there. But dude, like, if you were, I ought to take a photo and send it to you because you'd be shocked. Like, on Venice Boulevard at the 405, the underpass, dude, like, there's 50
Why are they letting
tents-
people set up like that?
Oh, it's all in Los Angeles. If you go to Culver City, you go across the street, there's none. Zero.
Yeah,
Or Burbank or Santa Monica, you see none.
right.
It's all Los Angeles because everybody in LA City Council's all corrupt and
Yep.
I don't know. They're doing nothing to make it work.
Right.
But you got to see how many there are. It's just homeless people. And,
Well, I hope people vote them out.
yeah, right. Never happen. Everybody's got their head too far up their ass.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway, you're listen. All right, we gotta get wrapped up, everybody. This was a weird one today. It seemed like a lot of non sequiturs and a lot of nonsense. I loved it. Next week we will be talking about the physics of electrons moving through a plate. No, we won't. I don't know what we'll be doing next week.
Right. All right, very good. I'll wrap you later.
All right, man.
And I'll see you next week sometime.
All right, giddy up.
All
Later,
right, very
everybody.
good. Giddy up. Very good.
You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and John.